Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Los Angeles, investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year.
Last week, Los Angeles police searching a home in Hollywood Hills that the singer was staying at, removing several items, including a computer.
David has canceled the rest of his U.S. tour after a girl's body was found in the car of his car at a tow.
David's name just got dragged through the mud again. And this time, it ain't whispers or rumors, it's cold, hard evidence. The FBI dropped a bomb after pulling call records tied straight to that young girl found lifeless in his car, and suddenly his creepy lyrics don't sound like art anymore. They sound like confessions from a crime scene. Street chatter already had folks buzzing, but investigators confirmed the unthinkable. The body stashed in David's Tesla was identified as 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a teenager from Lake Elsinore, California. She vanished on April 5th, 2024 at just 13 years old, and the darkest twist, she would have celebrated her 15th birthday the day before she was discovered hidden in the front trunk of his car. That Tesla had been sitting impounded after being abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, but the real horror unfolded later.
Tonight, more than a week after a body was found inside an impounded Tesla registered to the singer who goes by the stage name David, Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas, the same girl who was reported missing last year.
She was 13 years old when she went missing. She would have been 15 had she been living now, but she'd been missing since last year.
Workers at the impound lot complained about a disgusting stench oozing from the car. When they finally opened it up, it wasn't trash rotting away, it was Celeste's remains. And now comes the messiest layer yet. Whispers are flying that David had a direct connection with Celeste. Some even claim they were in a so-called relationship. Investigators revealed a chilling detail from Celeste's own mother, who said her daughter kept talking about a boyfriend named David before she disappeared. That detail alone has people rethinking everything about this case. Celeste's mother never came face to face with David, but his name was all over her daughter's world. And now reports claim the connection was far darker than anyone imagined.
And it was workers here at Hollywood Tow on Mansfield Avenue who noticed a strong odor coming from that vehicle where human remains were found, a decomposing body, and we're getting new details about this gruesome discovery. Take a look. We're learning that the vehicle involved is linked to Grammy Award-winning singer David, whose full name is David Anthony Burke.
Investigators say Celeste was in direct contact with David in what they're calling a romantic way, even though she was underage. And then there's the jaw-dropping detail. Celeste had a tattoo on her index finger that read, "Shh," the very same tattoo David proudly wears in the exact spot. That's not coincidence. That's a bond carved in ink. The LAPD clearly agrees, because they stopped treating this like a disappearance and made it official. Homicide. Detectives already raided a Hollywood Hills property tied to David and walked out carrying bags stuffed with potential evidence just last week, and then came the nail in the coffin.
Kind of messed up. I mean, I don't want to swear on camera, but yeah, I'd say that's pretty horrifying. Nobody wants to, I mean, we live here, so that's kind of gross. Yeah, I mean, I hope they find who did. I mean, the person, though, their family, that's got to be terrible.
Call records surfaced linking David straight to Celeste, proving their connection was way more personal than his I Don't Know Nothing act ever suggested. His defense? Cracking apart under the weight of all these receipts. But what's fueling the fire even more is his own art. The very music and visuals that first made him famous. Fans online are combing through his videos and lyrics, and what they're digging up is downright chilling. One video in particular, One More Dance, has the internet in shock. It literally shows David dragging a body into a trunk. Sound familiar? That imagery is almost identical to how Celeste's body was found in his Tesla. And in his track, Romantic Homicide, he sings, "In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it." People aren't just side-eyeing him anymore. They're convinced his art has been hiding confessions in plain sight. Now the streets are screaming louder than ever because David's so-called creativity is starting to look like a diary of guilt.
Her daughter was dating somebody named David. She didn't know who he was, but all of this is going to come into play as the LAPD is trying to understand if there was a relationship between David and Celeste Rivas.
Fans are lining up receipts from his songs and visuals, comparing every bar and every frame to the details of Celeste's case, and the overlaps are bone-chilling. One clip from a live performance even shows him laughing after singing about ending it all, and people online swear it don't sound like acting anymore. But investigators aren't stopping at music videos. They're tearing into David's digital life. Sources claim his phone records are a treasure chest of incriminating messages, and whispers say screenshots are already circulating in private circles. If those leaks hit the mainstream, it could be game over for his defense team. And here's where it gets wilder. Detectives allegedly found traces of bleach and cleaning supplies inside that abandoned Tesla. To many, that screams cover-up, not panic. The internet's theory? David tried to scrub away his tracks, but the stench of guilt was stronger than anything you could buy at a hardware store. Meanwhile, fans who once crowned him a voice of Gen Z are jumping ship fast. Social media is a war zone, with hashtags calling him a monster while others still defend him, claiming he's being set up. But the evidence stacking against him, it's painting a darker picture than even his creepiest lyrics ever did. I hate you. Suddenly, tracks that once sounded like teenage heartbreak anthems got a whole new meaning, twisted and haunting. Bars, visuals, and metaphors that fans once thought were just art.
There was one real identifying feature that was on the human remains that was left behind, and that was a tattoo on the right index finger on the inside that read, "Shh." David has that exact same tattoo on his right index finger.
Now look like confessions carved into beats. Whether it's coincidence or straight up foreshadowing, the streets ain't letting him off the hook. David's been forced to switch up everything. First move, he axed his entire US tour, gone, just like that. The deluxe edition of his album, shelved indefinitely. Promotion deals, frozen solid. Even his own label is acting allergic to him, cutting off ties and refusing to stand in the same room with this mess. And the domino effect keeps rolling. Brands, collaborators, and artists who once hyped him up are now ghosting like they never knew his name.
Last week, Los Angeles police searching a home in Hollywood Hills that the singer was staying at, removing several items, including a computer.
Even Kali Uchis, who used to share stages and vibes with him, is reportedly distancing herself quick. Nobody in the industry wants to gamble their reputation, their fan base, or their money on a man at the center of a body-in-the-trunk scandal. But while the industry's busy jumping ship, the streets are screaming for justice. Back in Lake Elsinore, Celeste's hometown, a crowd gathered for a heartbreaking vigil. They didn't just come to cry, they came demanding answers and justice for a 14-year-old whose life was cut short and thrown into a nightmare no family should face. And here's the shift that hits hardest. When the body first made headlines, David still had an army of defenders riding for him. Supporters swore it was all a setup, claiming the music business wanted him gone because his rise was too fast, too threatening. But now, those voices are silent, replaced by a louder, sharper chorus. Endless demands for the truth. The investigation ain't slowing down. If anything, it's turning into a full-blown manhunt for every secret David ever tried to bury. Detectives have already been spotted dragging evidence bags from multiple Hollywood properties linked to him, and insiders claim laptops, hard drives, and even clothing were hauled out for testing. Whatever's inside those bags could flip this whole case upside down.
Singer David has canceled the rest of his U.S. tour after a girl's body was found in the car of his car at a tow yard.
I just want justice for this little girl. I don't want her to be forgotten.
Forensics teams are now combing through every inch of that Tesla, and whispers say traces of DNA were pulled that don't just belong to Celeste. If that rumor holds weight, then David might be tied to more than just one victim, and that possibility has the internet spiraling. Some are already calling this the start of a bigger pattern that nobody saw coming. Meanwhile, the LAPD's been tight-lipped, but leaks keep slipping through cracks. Word is, investigators found messages where David allegedly set up private meetups with girls way younger than him. Screenshots haven't gone public yet, but insiders are saying it's only a matter of time before they explode online. And once that happens, his image as a misunderstood artist is gone for good. And here's where it gets even darker. Prosecutors are reportedly preparing charges that could land him behind bars for decades. We're not talking about petty offenses. This is murder, exploitation, and cover-up territory. Every new detail makes it harder to believe he'll walk away untouched, and the streets are already bracing for the day cops roll up with handcuffs. The question now, is David just days away from being arrested on live TV? The streets are flipping on him fast, and now people are dissecting every move, or lack of it. The biggest red flag? If David was really innocent, why didn't he report his Tesla stolen the second it disappeared? That silence is screaming guilt to a lot of folks. Others are saying David been low-key confessing all along, hiding the truth in plain sight through his lyrics, but nobody cracked the code until now. One fan's post went viral, calling it eerie, how his entire career looks like a confession in disguise. Another pointed out that so many of his tracks mention ending a lover's life or watching them die. And while it once felt metaphorical, today it plays back like a chilling blueprint. People can't stop replaying the bars, wondering if he was spelling it out the whole time and nobody caught it. But even with all that smoke, there's one burning question that keeps tripping people up. If David really did this, why leave Celeste's body inside a car registered in his own name? That's not criminal genius, that's sloppy. Some think it proves he panicked, others say it's so reckless it has to be a setup. That gap in logic is what's got fans divided and detectives digging deeper. One user flat out wrote, "I don't think David did it, it doesn't add up." And they're not alone. The internet's buzzing with the same question over and over. If the evidence is stacking this heavy, why hasn't David been cuffed yet? Because let's be real, if this was some random dude with a 9-to-5 job, wouldn't he already be in cuffs? One comment that blew up online read, "Why has this dude not been arrested yet? It's actually wild to me." Another was even harsher, saying, "He did it. Lock this little demon up and throw away the key. What an awful crime." But investigators keep repeating the same line. They can't move without airtight evidence. They're waiting on the autopsy results, the official cause and manner of death, and every box checked before they file charges. That's the law, but for the public it feels like stalling. One furious user blasted the cops saying, "The LAPD not calling this criminal homicide is a cop-out. She didn't chop herself up." And that sentiment is spreading fast because everyone can see the threads. People who knew Celeste linking her to David, whispers of them being romantically involved, and receipts piling up that make the wait-and-see approach look weak. Even deeper, frustrations boiling over about how Celeste wasn't found sooner. She was missing for over a year. So where were the Amber Alerts? The tips? The searches? Families and advocates are now demanding answers, asking if the system straight up failed her. Did investigators drop the ball? Did society look away? Or was her case brushed aside until tragedy forced it into the spotlight? The questions are heavy and the anger is louder than ever. And while investigators keep piecing this puzzle together, the spotlight refuses to leave David. His name, his choices, his lyrics, even his silence, it's all under a microscope. And every day, more people are questioning whether he's an artist with bad timing or a suspect hiding in plain sight. The case isn't just tragic, it's layered with contradictions, mysteries, and receipts that just won't stop surfacing. The streets are still buzzing with theories. Some say Celeste's death was a horrific coincidence, that David is just a young star caught in a storm bigger than him. Others believe the truth was written in his songs long before her body was found, turning his art into a dark prophecy nobody wanted to see. Either way, the pressure is mounting and the world is waiting to see if cops finally pull the trigger on an arrest. Meanwhile, activists and advocates are demanding answers about how a 14-year-old girl could vanish for over a year with so few alarms raised. Was her case ignored? Was she failed by a system that moves too slow unless cameras are rolling? Those questions are fueling outrage, and they're not going away anytime soon. So what's really next for David? A comeback if he clears his name, or a courtroom where his darkest lyrics could be played back as evidence? The debate is raging, and your voice matters too. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Public Secrets for the truth the headlines won't tell you.